Hello there, good morning, good evening, hi. Today was so scuffed. I didn't have to go into work because of the storm, but unfortunately for me, the Wi-Fi went out at one point. I had no internet, so I was just like sitting there awkwardly. I'm like at home because my phone would load nothing. I couldn't even watch YouTube. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna nap. I see how it is. Day off. It's okay though. And before this, I ate some chicken katsu. Chicken katsu is always tasty. I also have a milkshake with me, so I'm gonna sip on that every so often. Fruity Pebbles milkshake, but for now, time to continue the event for crossing. I wonder how it's gonna go with the wine. So much wine. The murder, the wine. All the businesses going out. And now for Crash. Since it's Crash, oh no, it's gonna be the delivery company, isn't it? Oh man. Our poor delivery peoples. For a long time afterwards, Irene thought back to her hesitation that night every time she drove her truck alone. Yes, cheese and dime, yum. I want cheese. Cheese is good. Hopefully the internet stays strong. I'm so sad how it died earlier today. The sky is completely dark by the time the truck stops at the edge of Court Square. She does not turn off the engine. The vibration is transmitted to her wrist via the steering wheel before gradually subsiding. She called Lavinia on her way, saying she has something to discuss. I don't know what to do, Lavinia. Irene mutters in the driver's seat, but she cannot bring herself to finish a sentence. You're the only one I can count on. Is she really the only one? Irene spends a few moments in bitter silence as raindrops splash her face through the gap in the window. She turns off the engine. Oh, yes, you're back here.
I made more money in one trip than I did the last 2 weeks combined. The Cashmereans pay well. You showing off? Make the payments for this week alone wiped out a whole trip's margin for me.
Oof. Payments. Pain.
I don't hear you talking about the heavy fines the Cashmereans levy. Heh, thanks for helping to pay my share. Now that I've gotten paid, how much do I owe you? Don't worry about it. Brothers help each other out.
How nice.
Rich you are. I'll save a portion and do my part next time someone gets fined. Saving is the right move, or Jannie and fuel prices are rising. I was just at the station and boy did it hurt to watch the numbers going up and up and up.
Yeah, gas is really rising, huh? Gas prices.
I did run to a bloke from Lealty Pharmacy at the fuel station who lent me his discount card. I should bring him a pack of smokes next time I go by the shop. Really? As long as Irene doesn't catch you hanging out with the wise guy.
Hanging out with who?
No, it's nothing. Ciao, Irene. Haven't seen you in a while. I think I'm gonna break your delivery record soon.
Great. As a reward, you get the transportation security paperwork from the Agenzia per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti.
Ha! Anything but the AST. Anyway, it's time for me to go to my next job. A dopo. He's right, we haven't seen you in camp for a while. How you gotten thinner? You gotta take care of yourself, or Summer will never forgive us.
Summer. Ooh, the tax prices in Earth is right now. Oh no. Don't change the subject. What were you chatting about? Hello.
It's nothing, really.
Oh, come on. When will you and Sam learn? Where is Sam anyway? I didn't see him anywhere in camp, and his schedule's empty for a few days. Where is he?
He's been sick. Fever, vomiting, diarrhea, the whole shebang. Had to go home and lie down after last night's delivery. Gianni's taking his orders for today. The Cashmereans dock pay for days off, you know. Ready to find a sub if we got one.
They dock pay for days off? That is so rude. Come on, sick days, sick pay. Never mind. I'll get a doctor and look at him.
Did you need him for something?
Irene irritably shakes the object in her hand. It makes a swishing sound. The package is obviously wine bottle shaped, never mind the Saluzzo Vino logos displayed prominently on it. Oh! Why did Saluzzo Vino send us a bottle of wine? I would have thought that one of you dropped a delivery in the mailroom if the package didn't have Sam's name on it.
Well, it's probably a moving gift for Sam's cousin's family.
Moving gift?
When his cousin's family first came to Nova Volsini, Signor Dimitri helped out.
Oh, how nice, and hello.
I think he mentioned he'd send a bottle of wine as a moving gift.
How nice of Dimitri.
It's just a little wine, Irene. And it's not for him. Sam quit drinking, you know that.
I know, I'm just wondering how Signor Balone knew about Sam's cousin. And you, Ruggiero. I was planning to go shopping at your little supermarket a few days ago, only to find that it's become a Saluzzo Vino outlet. Since when have you gotten so friendly with each other?
I rented it to them. Turns out managing a whole supermarket was more trouble than it's worth, and I figured I was better off driving trucks.
Understandable. Were you in some trouble I didn't know about? Something that you couldn't tell me, but you're comfortable telling the Mafia? Hey, they're clean, Irene. Yeah, like, I don't blame her being cautious, but right now they're clean.
It's not that, Irene.
When we understand, small favors are favors too, and all favors have to be repaid someday with interest.
But they're just helping us right now.
Are they? The Red Wine Championship starts in a few days. Is it not obvious why Saluzzo Vino sent a moving gift right now? It's just a bottle of wine at this point, but what about later? Mafia money? The Familia's name? Will you go back to working for them like you used to?
If you're worried about history repeating itself, I promise you it won't. Besides, under Nova Volsini's new order, even if you don't trust me, you should trust the mayor and Judge Lavinia.
It's not that I don't trust them, it's just... Never mind, don't forget what happened at the Carnival. Avoid dealing with Familiae. You may think they're ordinary employees and shopkeepers, but everything they do is under the watchful eye of the wise guys. At this point, you feel like only Mayor Leontuzo's guarantee can convince her? Yeah, probably.
I know it was traumatic for you, as it was for all of us, but things have changed for the Saluzzos. Venezia Jr. is gone. It's a new era of leadership.
Ruggiero is interrupted by the sound of his phone ringing. Irene says nothing. She shakes her head and turns around to leave. Ruggiero hears an urgent voice as soon as he picks up the phone.
Ruggiero, I can't reach Sam. What do I do? Come to the vehicle checkpoint and talk to. The cashier agents say that they're slapping on an extra fine, and I can't just get them to listen to me. What?
I hate fines. I hate them so much. Seeing Ruggiero's anxiety, Irene gestures for him to pass the terminal. Just adding on more and more taxes to them. It's me. What's going on?
Irene? Oh, I'm so glad you're there. Sam's been running a fever, so I swapped shifts with him. This run just happened to be on the way to my order, but the cashier agents changed the delivery destination at the last minute, and I didn't make it in time. I tried to explain, but this cashier agent doesn't seem to understand what I'm saying. He keeps saying I broke the contract, and he's demanding I pay a fine.
How dare you deliver my product late by like 10 minutes? You owe me money now.
Please hurry, Irene. The print on the contract is tiny and thick, and I can't make sense of it.
I'm on my way. Poor Irene. Surely you can make an accommodation. It was your side that changed the delivery address at the last minute. Why should the driver pay a penalty?
Commissioner, all orders are logged into our system, and our adjustments are made according to the published schedules. Drivers bear responsibility for any shift changes they make themselves.
But
the contract makes it quite clear, exceptions compromise our ability to enforce our contracts in the future. Continuing this argument does neither of us any good. If the driver doesn't leave now based on the road conditions and the published schedule, you may be held in substantive breach of contract, resulting in a fine equal to 15% of the order. It will also be your seventh penalty of the month. Therefore, the windows for any subsequent orders will be tightened accordingly.
Like, sure, they might pay better, but at the same time, all the money's going to the fines. Like, holy cow, that sucks. Yikes. I don't pay the services. Okay, that would have been funny. But yeah, no. Irene cannot recall what she saw in the forced smile that Gianni offered her. Was it regret or an apology? Jannie departed promptly upon hearing the foreign businessman's kind words before Irene could intervene, muttering a few words of self-encouragement to himself. I can't just let it go like this, thought Irene.
Back already, Irene. How do things go with Gianni?
Did we keep a copy of the Cashmerian contracts at the camp? Bring it to me.
What's going on?
The terms. Something's not right. There are certain parts that don't seem reasonable. We need to talk it over with our people. Yeah, it sounds like they're being scammed.
Gianni's trouble hasn't been resolved, has it?
No. But I'll take care of it.
I knew it. Other drivers have tried to talk to the Cashmerian informally. As for the outcome, I think you can guess. We were talking about how to handle Gianni's fines while you were away. His wife just gave birth to twins, and the folks at home are not in the best of health. Thankfully,
Dimitri is gonna be like, I'm gonna help you guys, no worries. Congratulations on the twins. Ruggiero stops in mid-sentence. Irene asks no more. Perhaps she's afraid that she might ask how the mob boss learned about the issues facing Gianni's family, when she herself has only just heard of them moments ago. Hello. She feels like she has spent too long in her office, so long that she can barely recognize her family anymore, same as it was 2 years ago. Get the contract. I'll be fine. I'll find a way to Wait, is it broken? To deal with it. Okay, I was scared for a moment. I'm like, please don't crash. The ASD's drivers do not rely on the kindness of strangers, especially those looking to hide their trap. The lighting at the Cashmerian Chamber of Commerce's reception room is much warmer than the Agencia per la Sicurezza de Transporte's office, the thick rug thoroughly muffling the sound of any footsteps. Aw, nothing fancy. Aw, I was hoping that they would have a thingy for next month. Like a teaser for next month. Unless they'll post that later, because I want to know. I want future vision. The water and documents on the table are placed such that one cannot tell if this is the table of a formal negotiation or simply a courtesy discussion. The Cashmerian representative arrived a little earlier than appointed and is looking at the documents when Irene arrives. He sets the papers down and stands to greet her. Irene sits without engaging in small talk. I wish to make certain adjustments to the cooperation between the Agencia per la Sicurezza de Transporte, Sicurezza de Transporte, and the Cashmerian Chamber of Commerce. The drivers are not machines. They're doing their best to cooperate. And while it's true that they must sometimes be held responsible for breaches of contract, many more are attributable to a disconnect between contract terms and reality. Too many of these terms are unreasonable. Irene takes out a stack of contracts and pushes them forward. The edges are frayed from excessive flipping, and the pages are heavily labeled. On their own, the individual terms may not seem unreasonable. Taken together, however, they serve to put all the pressure on the lowest rung of the ladder. The Cashmerian representative flips through the contract, reading it carefully, staying on one page for minutes, seemingly to confirm the detailed wording. After some time, he finally puts it away.
I understand your concerns, indeed. We've also noted the recent freight disruptions. However, the terms of the contract are clear, and you had the opportunity to review them before you signed it. Yes, because none of us realized that they would be relevant at the same time so often. The rules themselves are not contradictory. It is just that current operating conditions are tighter than expected.
Judge Lavinia, help us!
What is your request then, Commissioner?
Hello. I would like more flexibility when dealing with edge cases, at least for the time being. Some space in implementation, if nothing else. I think it would be conducive to better cooperation in the future. The Cashmerian representative is silent for a moment. Irene has a feeling that the silence is not a hesitation, but an assessment of whether the statement calls for the dignity of a response. A fleeting feeling, nothing more.
Marking every single little adjustment would be a considerable burden on management moving forward. However, we could, shall we say, set the recent records aside for the time being.
What do you mean, set aside?
They will not be referenced at the current stage, at least not until the scheduling cycle is over.
What about penalty records of individual drivers?
They will not be scrutinized individually. At the current stage, you may focus your time and energy on ensuring Smooth overall operation. Small problems would not be examined so closely when the big picture is secure. We too would prefer that our partners are able to work without pressure. We recognize, of course, that the recent circumstances are exceptional. We appreciate your contributions in dealing with the increased workload associated with the upcoming Red Wine Championship. Yes, the AST has committed virtually all of our capacity to the Red Wine Championship's orders. I appreciate our Cashmerian partners' understanding of our driver circumstances. For better cooperation in the future, yes?
Yeah, totally. I will adjust our schedules and review the conditions of our drivers. I recognize that doing business with you has been very beneficial for our members. Irene stands up and shakes hands with her counterpart. The hand held in hers is firm without applying excessive force, and the expression on the man's face remains polite, exactly as it was when Irene entered the room.
We'll review the next steps once things have settled down a bit.
Irene nods. Irene even feels a slight spring in her step as she leaves the room, carrying the contract. She did not cede ground. The feeling helps ease the anxiety that she has felt before she came, but also causes a pang of regret. If only she'd come sooner to advocate for the drivers. If only she'd checked the contract more carefully. But everything is resolved now, at least. There is room to negotiate. Irene spends the next day tallying the violations on all the drivers, the Agencia per la Seguridad de Transporte's available budget, and her own savings. Later, she goes back to the camp to tell the others not to worry about the fines. Everything is getting better, just like the sunny weather that has graced Nuova Volsini recently, thinks Irene. Irene, how much of your savings are you spending on this? Ugh, everyone's fine. Sam is already feeling better by the time he leaves the pharmacy. In terms of his wallet, at least, he has been off for 3 days, his fever has subsided, and he feels ready to go back to work.
Can't have the others subbing in for me all the time. I should figure out my schedule tomorrow, then hit the ground running. Who's calling this hour? Hello? Oh, Tommaso from Saluzovino? Thanks to the flu and fever pills you gave me the other day. They worked great. I was just looking for them in the pharmacy to keep them on hand for the next time I get a fever. Oh, you're too kind. You said the order wasn't urgent, but I didn't want to hold up your business any longer, so I took it upon myself to deliver it. I didn't expect to see medicine boxes in with the pay. You weren't there when I picked it up, but I guess it was you with the meds in there. You Saluzos are too kind. Oh, sorry, Ballones. Of course, you Ballones are too kind. So, what do you need from me at a time like this? Your boss forgot to add a few crates to delivery, and no one's available? And you need it for tomorrow's Red Wine Championship? Well, we can't have that. I'm just 1 block away from your winery. I'll get it. Should only take a few minutes on my bike.
On his bike?
Don't worry about a fee. Neighbors help each other out, after all. You insist? Alright. Have it your way. We can talk about it after you deliver the wine.
Delivering on a bike seems so messy. Especially if he goes on a bump on the road.
Heh. Yes, even the big companies slip up every once in a while. Good thing Tommaso found me. How did he get my number anyway? Did I ever tell them? Never mind, that's not important. What is important that a Nuova Volsini's wine wins this Red Wine Championship. Do the Cashmerians make good wine? Could it possibly be as good as the Syracusan stuff at any rate? 2 more stops till I get to the venue. Where did that truck come from?
Trucku, no!
Phew. The driver scared the shit out of me. The way he swerved, good thing the wine's okay. Must have dozed off and missed the red light, I guess. Yikes. The whole truck's flipped over. I hope the driver's okay. I should call the police. Johnny? Is that you? Somebody, help! Vertil's hurt! Hey, you, Tommaso, you're here too? Help me get him out from under the wreck. I'll call an ambulance. Hello? There's been a crash. The driver's out cold. I need an ambulance right now.
There's a crash.
So Tommaso told me that their boss would pay for Gianni's medical bills and the truckload of wine. That Gianni might not have crashed if they didn't ask me to make the delivery, and the Cashmerian stuff wouldn't have spilled.
And then?
Then what? Nothing. That's all Tommaso told me. It's just an act of kindness, Irene. Tommaso says the owner of Saluzovino is very troubled about Gianni, that he never expected such a terrible accident. Besides, Gianni's in the hospital and needs the money. You were at the cashier place for a while. What are they saying? Do we need to pay compensation for the goods, or is it Saluso Vino's responsibility?
The cashier said they can write off the goods. Irene stops mid-sentence. She feels a lump in her throat. Her gaze falls upon the truck sitting on the edge of the camp. It has not been repaired yet, and the broken glass inside the truck gleams in the sunlight. The way they put it, they agree to not pursue individual liability for the incident. It takes a few moments for Sam to process the weight of the message, whereupon he visibly lets out a sigh of relief.
What about Jannie?
No personal restitution. It'll be treated as a failed contract. The rate of the loss of goods, nice words are used, sharing risks, and treating partners fairly.
That's great! Honestly, I didn't think Jannie could handle paying restitution. He's got way too much on his plate already. He's been taking so many jobs lately that the fatigue must have gotten to him.
Anyway, tell the friend who asked you to run the errand that we don't need their help. The AST's insurance will pay part of Gianni's medical bills, and I'll deal with the rest. Irene, your wallet!
Sure, alright. The boys have been talking about chipping in for the bills anyway. I'll do my part too. Oh, Tommaso, right? I'll give him a call now.
Oh, come on.
I doubt the cashier will let it go so easily. You told us about their nice words. What about the not so nice ones?
They made it very clear that this was an exception that they only agree to based on our current partnership.
What do you mean?
It means that they want us to be more proactive in working with their system, such as future schedules, routes, and other things that we used to decide on our own. As for penalty records, they said that they'll assess them in aggregate, bunch of officialese for eternal reference only, no direct fines.
That's what they said before too.
Formal renegotiations with the cashier regarding the specifics will take place after the Red Wine Championship. We won't let them put unreasonable terms into the contract this time. Anyway, that's all about the truckload of wine. Don't ask questions and don't think too much about it. It's all in the past now.
Irene.
I know what you're trying to say. I don't need it. We don't need it. It's all done. Don't worry, I'll find a way. Things will get better for drivers at the AST. For the truckers union. Irene, you're gonna go into debt. For a long time afterwards, what Irene recalls most vividly about those two negotiations is not anything that her counterpart said, but the strange confidence that she had. She believed that things would solve themselves if they were put out in the open, as long as rules and boundaries were upheld, even without having to rely on those forces that she was loath to involve. She was so hopeful. Not now. I don't have time for you. Irene impatiently waves away the loophole delivery man behind her and turns to face a smartly dressed Kuranta. She's anxious and yet helpless, unsure what to do with her raised hand. But we couldn't possibly pay such an amount. And what do you mean, you end our partnership if we don't accept? Didn't we say the other day?
Our agreement that day was based on the circumstances before that day. Our demands today are based on the changes that will occur after today.
Irene, what's worse, dealing with this dude or dealing with the others? His tone was calm and passive, as though he was only stating an indisputable fact, and was kind enough to explain it again for Irene's sake. Like, I would rather deal with the Ballones than this dude.
We will not intervene in the assignment of responsibility for the traffic accident, nor do we intend to influence the judgment of the relevant authorities. But the destruction of the goods is the outcome, and nothing can change that, not to mention the poisoning. As fate would have it, it was supposed to be our wine that the conductor in question had last sampled, yet a Lupo claims that he had asked someone to deliver it, and the vehicle that delivered the samples under suspicion happened to be the one that caused the accident involving the truck delivering our wine.
The AST's drivers have nothing to do with the poisoning.
Of course, I fully believe that. At least, I do from a traffic perspective.
Traffic perspective?
Regardless of whether the rider violated traffic laws, his actions objectively impacted the non-delivery of our goods. He created a high-risk environment at a critical juncture, the result of which was that the contract was not fulfilled according to agreement.
They're going after someone who did not commit any actual violations?
Going after is such a strong phrase. I said nothing of the sort. We're simply assessing the associated liabilities in accordance with the law.
The Kuranta pauses and continues.
The portions of damages that insurance does not cover must, of course, be borne by the liable parties. Business is business, Commissioner Irene. I beg your understanding.
Business? This is highway robbery.
Ah, we regret that you see it as such. I assure you our company is most disappointed in this turn of events. Meanwhile, we invite any interested drivers to pick up a pamphlet in hopes of future cooperation. We continue to welcome rational choices.
Sure.
Wait, Irene, say something! There's no way I can deal with what's on this piece of paper myself. I guess I'll have to go to...
No.
Then what do you suggest I do? If you didn't sign that partnership agreement with these foreigners, the crash would never have happened, and Gianna wouldn't be lying in a hospital bed right now. I know you just want to help us make money, but those Kashmirians are going to sue me. I've never even seen that much money in my entire life. How am I supposed to pay it? You said that regulations would protect the truckers' union. No, the AST's drivers once you were part of the municipal system. I shouldn't have to deal with this on my own, right?
I know, I'll find a way.
Well, either you do that or I go and talk to the Boulogne associate behind you.
Irene reflexively opens her mouth to say no, as she had done so many times whenever the subject is broached, but no words come out. She sees a few drivers standing around the Kuranta in the distance, the same typical smile plastered over his face as always. The man stands there, patiently holding a pamphlet, sometimes nodding and sometimes replying softly, looking more like a counselor listening to someone's troubles than a salesman trying to advertise something. The drivers listen to the Kuranta's explanations with perplexed expressions on their faces, while casting subtle, searching glances at Irene. Don't worry, I'll find a way. I will. Irene, your bank's already in the red at this point. It's been a long time since Irene last drove a truck to work. It's been a long time since she drove a truck on the new city's roads. Parking spaces are always at a premium at a city hall, where the Agencia per la Seguridad de Transportes offices are located. Visitors from the local businesses, guests from foreign trade associations, drivers of the AST, colleagues from other departments, vehicles of all shapes and sizes come and go. There is no space for a truck. In the afternoon, when Irene is driving a truck out of the camp, she overhears the other drivers discussing the pamphlets that the Kashmirian representative brought, some with excitement, others with suspicion. They talk about the number of fines this quarter, the profits of each job, and their children potentially getting to work for the winery, a pharmacy, or a vehicle factory. The pamphlets paint a picturesque future, not so different from what she saw when she chose the foreigners in order to reject the familier. But she knows that they also represent other things. Irene continues to drive for a long time. As the colors of dusk fill the sky, she dials a certain number on her terminal. Lavinia? It's me, Irene. I'm coming over to the courthouse right now. I need to talk to you. It's important. Yes, let her see the contract. The sus contract. Yeah, she has to take a chance. Now for the unheard sound. We're back here. Oh no, is it gonna be the poisoning? What wonderful lighting. It complements your emerald eyes. Oh, how lucky I am to have a girl with such beautiful eyes. You talk like I'm the one about to go on stage, Paola. But yeah, you sure are lucky to have a daughter who can handle both performance and paperwork so brilliantly. Yes. So, my good daughter, I trust you'll handle tomorrow's meeting with the new shopping mall on the corner. I have some new pieces brewing in my mind, and I'd like you to put them onto paper after the Red Wine Championship. Of course, Paola. Leave it to me. You should head to the stage now. Your performance is about to begin. Everyone will know of our Schwarzer Vorhang Orchestra after today's performance, and I'm sure you'll be busy. Stage lights peek through the gap between the backstage curtains, outlining the Capernet's horns as she raises her baton. Yay for the performance! She saw only a silhouette. Under the slanted cellar lamps, the reflections off the drinking glass faded and reappeared as the figure moved. Lysa wanted to approach the figure, perhaps they were lost in need of directions, but she only took one step before the other turned in response and quickly moved past the shelves. As the two brushed shoulders, the light revealed towering horns atop a black hood. Horns? A Cabernet horns? I'm sorry. The incident. The blinding stage lights shine down on the floor where Paola fell. The spilled wine pooling glaringly like fresh blood. Her mother's lips, which were smiling and praising her, now dyed a shade of ominous red wine. The bright lights caused Lyselle's vision to blur, yet Paola's lifeless eyes failed to capture any of it. Paola? Mama! So sad, it was supposed to be a nice competition. Lyselle? Huh?
I was just saying, we'll handle the partnership and payment according to the contract. I'm sure you understand.
Sorry, I was distracted.
No worries, I understand you're trying to keep the orchestra together after such a huge blow. It must be difficult. Again, I'm so sorry for what happened to Frau Paula. The city has lost a beautiful and talented artist. I myself am grieving the tremendous loss. I can't imagine how our adopted daughter must feel.
I appreciate your sympathy.
I hope you bounce back quickly. I prepared some condolence gifts for your group. You can share them later.
You shouldn't have. We're honored to simply be working with you. So about the performance fee?
Don't worry about it. We won't claw back the deposit. But as I was about to say, we've decided not to continue our cooperation. I hope your group can find a solace and win this difficult time.
But wait, you're not renewing the contract?
Yes, without a dazzling pearl like Frau Paula, your orchestra has lost its backbone. I fear the standard of your performances will not return to its original level anytime soon. After all, we're a business, not a charity. Oh, sorry, was that too blunt of me?
Then what about performances scheduled for the next 2 days?
Cancelled, of course. The original plan was to let our guests enjoy your music, accompanying their wine tasting. But now City Hall has closed the theater for an investigation of this incident, so there's no way to continue the competition. I'm suffering a terrible loss too, you know.
Then what about the fees for the previous performances? Our Red Wine Championship warm-up performances were perfectly fine, popular even.
Our contract clearly states, in the event that the force majeure leads to the termination or cancellation of the performance, the client is not obliged to pay the corresponding fee. In other words, we pay the balance only after all the performances have been properly performed. Perhaps your grief caused you to forget this clause?
No, that is not...
No one wanted for this to happen. It's a terrible loss for us as well, so I hope that you and your orchestra can empathize. If there's anything else we can help with, just let us know and we'll try our best to assist.
Yeah, sure, dude. I understand. If you ever need our services in the future, just let me know.
Of course, of course. But I must ask, will your group be alright performing without Frau Paula?
He's just rubbing salt in the wound.
Lyselle, you're finally back.
The panty pulls Lyselle onto the sofa in the middle of the rehearsal room, then sits down next to her, awkwardly patting her shoulder. His back is straight, but his bloodshot eyes betray his effort to remain chipper.
Man, that Zarek's a stubborn one. Did he insist on discussing the contract with you just because your mother's signature was on it? I didn't think. We were telling him to come to us. You've just suffered a tragic loss. How could he talk business with you right now? Right, he has no clue how close you two were. You know, we can tell at a glance how long he spent sobbing last night.
Just stay put here, Lyselle. Enough worrying over the past few days. Let us old-timers handle the rest. Just look at your hands, all wrinkly and calloused from doing the cleaning and chores all by yourself, just to save money. Huh? No, I'm fine. Actually, I'd rather you all not worry yourselves over this. Just concentrate on rehearsal.
Right. So what do you say about our future performances? Same as usual, or are we doing something new?
But Paula didn't finish her new piece. About that, our future performances are all cancelled. Zarek also says that we only get the balance payment after performances are done, but now...
What? Damn it, Kashmirjan. Chivger.
Hey, Simpani. Chum won't stop Simpani from continuing his onslaught of expletives with a tiny pinch. and gestures with her eyes for him to show some consideration to the girl on the sofa.
Sorry, Lysel. I wasn't mad at you, don't worry. Damn it, Sharek. Bullying a little girl. See, no heart. The Red Wine Championship just ended a few days ago. You haven't even had a chance to recover, and he lays this on you?
Lysel, you should go back to bed. You haven't gotten a wink of sleep since yesterday. I left a cup of hot sister milk in your room, so have some, alright? Oh no, it might be cold by now. Why don't I go warm it up for you? Lysel opens her mouth to answer, but nothing comes out as she notices everyone's red eyes and tired expressions. She manages nothing, and ultimately shakes her head weakly, refusing Trombone's offer as she gets up to leave. In the hallway outside the room, she leans against the wall, listening to the vague murmurs from inside.
What do we do now? All is gone, and so is our performance fee. We're counting on this championship to get our name out there and secure new gigs, but now it's going to be nearly impossible.
We need cash to rent a rehearsal space for instrument maintenance, and food isn't free either. Paula didn't have much saved. She shared whatever she had with us.
That's what we have. I think we can manage another 10 or 15 days or so. But who will conduct us now that Paula's gone? How are we going to perform without her?
What is she even? The balloon Lupo. Why did he hurt our Paula? It just makes no sense. What does this mafia have to do with us? I don't think he was targeting Paula.
Maybe they thought she was in someone's way? Or do we break one of their rules by taking gigs here? Who knows? The Syracusan gangsters are a ruthless bunch.
City Hall says investigations are ongoing, but who knows if they'll actually go anywhere?
What can we even hope for? The city is still Syracuse after all. I think they're just pretending to exercise the law. Personally, I think we should never forget what the Ballones did to Paula.
I don't think they did anything to Paula.
If I ever see one of their mobsters, my fist is going straight in their jaw.
Don't be rash. If they could murder Paula just like that, I'm sure they could end our lives just as easily. We all came from Lithuanian. Could it be? They're after Lithuanians?
Surely not.
If that's not it, I don't know how else to explain it. Why would they go after a woman as great as Paula?
I've had enough of the Syracuse Mafia. Why don't we just leave for Victoria or somewhere even further? How's Columbia sound? We might have to quit playing, but we can do odd jobs or whatever to feed ourselves, just like we did before we met Paula.
You should take Lysel with us.
Of course, even if I only earn enough for a bowl of macaroni, you bet half of it's going to the girl. She would not starve it on my watch.
Lysel doesn't manage to make out what the rest say in response, nor does she have the will to listen further. She only feels her head spinning, her eyes stinging, her entire body heavy like lead. She only wants to fall into Paula's embrace. Speak. Lysel does not return to her own bed, but instead opens the door to Paula's room. Paula forgot to shut the windows tight on the day of the championship, and the rain from last night soaked the nearby stack of music sheets. Even a day later, the papers remain wrinkled. Forgot to close the window again, huh? Even though I remind her every night, honestly, everything else might as well be dust when she dove into her music. Paula. Sob. The tears that she tried her best to hold back for the sake of the meeting with the Cashmerean businessman, and the orchestra now burst forth once more. Lysel gathers the sheets by the window, trying to smooth out the wrinkles on the paper, but even her fingers appear to her as blurry as a nose soaked by the rain. She knows how dreadful and silly she must look if Paula saw her like this. She joined the crying too. Paula had been accompanying Lysel to her parents' graves when they overheard a lady performing a foreign melody nearby. And she cried the same way Lysel is crying now. The trombone player was started by the red-eyed Paula, but later became part of the family, just like bassoon and even timpani. Paula had been standing at the pier when she discovered timpani, throwing piles into the ground with a steel drill. You have a good sense of rhythm, she said, so why not join my orchestra as a timpani player? Lysel asked Paula before why someone as talented as her would leave Lithuanian. Paula only tilted her head in response then. She didn't fully understand herself. Why didn't her countrymen understand that she only wanted to perform the pieces she liked? Why couldn't they accept even that? These scores were her favorites. The paint and the metronomes flaking off, she must have brought it from Lithuanian. Oh, so this earring was all the way back in the back of this drawer. Paula was so sad when she thought she lost it. This costume has been altered so many times, and it's still not finished. She said she'd wear it for the performance in 2 days. Lysel gently picks up the crimson dress, her fingers tracing the gold thread on the neckline. The fabric is somewhat old with the dye fading on its fraying edges, but the elaborate embroidery work is as brilliant as ever. Next to the dress hanger is a staff, standing in silence. This is sad. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Her staff. You had so much to teach me about arts, so why? Why did someone do that to you? The streetlights outside the window flicker to life, and passing headlights flash in and out of her vision, blurred by her overflowing tears. Light, a flash of light. The flash of light reflected off the drinking glass. Lysel's fingers freeze, a blurry fragment surges forth from her memories like ice on a lake suddenly cracking from all the suppressed water. The slender, hooded figure, half hidden behind the shelf, the spotlight shining down, illuminating the glass in his hand. Towering horns under the light. That's the man I thought was lost in the cellar. But he's a Cabernet? That's no Balone and no Lupo either. There's no way. What's going on? Lysel, please report this. Like Trombone says, we have nothing to do with the Mafia. Could it be Balone really had nothing to do with this? Or maybe he's not the murderer? He's not! You're just catching strays right now. But then why? Why a Cabernet? Lysel looks up, her gaze fixed on the photo on the headboard of Paolo's bed. A formal group photo of the Schwarzer Warhang Orchestra after performance. Other than a few Olafia, the other members, numbering a dozen or so, are all Cabernet. All this business talk and lawfare stuff, and you see why Munar got super depressed. Understandable, Uncle Munar. When she joked to Paula, asking if she intended to recruit every Lithuanian in Syracusa into the group, and Paula laughed, saying it would be wonderful. What if that person was no stranger, but one of our players in disguise? No way! How can I suspect one of our own? But I have to find the killer. I have to know who killed Paula. Paula, when you're teaching me arts, you said telling the truth can sometimes hurt, but it's like a flame, warm and powerful. You always told me to never lie and to do the right thing. But what if doing it would scorch our family? Lysel biting her lip, trying to stop herself from voicing her thoughts. But they only remained stuck in her head. Hello. The exhaustion, shocks, pain, and fear from the past few days has squeezed her into a tiny ball, primed to blow. Her tears no longer flow, she only feels cold.
Just a few more days until that murderer has been sentenced, and we'll bring Lysel with us and leave the place. Shh! What's wrong? You see the luxury hotel over there? Bah, Balone businesses wherever we go. Huh? You mean the priciest place, the one that's impossible to book, is theirs too?
It's not like they're doing anything bad right now. They just have hotels.
They sure are raking in the cash. Rich men like them probably can buy themselves an aquatel, right? I'll do every damn thing myself. Just you wait. I'll stab him a couple of times someday. Enough. Did you forget what Trombone said? Besides, with that lame leg of yours, the cops would catch you right after you got your first stab in. And then you just break Lysel's heart again. Right. We can't let her suffer anymore. No, I still can't just let it be. Fine, why don't we just go outside and spit on the ground? Let's go. No. It won't blow enough steam. I need to get in a good punch or two.
Timpani, no. Stop it.
Ah. You're the most stubborn man in the orchestra. Fine, I'll come along.
You're gonna make Lysel cry again. And yeah, the killer was smart for choosing this time. What? Timpani and Bassoon have been detained? For getting into conflict on the Balone property? No, I'm not Paula. No, nothing. Yes, I'm Lysel Miminger. The phone number is correct. Alright, I'll come at once. Time to bail the boys out. She's barely managed to drift off when a shrill ringtone interrupts her sleep. Lysel cannot decide if the caller's description of what happened or the resulting scene taking shape in her imagination is more devastating. Her heart pounds violently as she puts on a coat before heading outside. Perhaps it's late at night, or maybe because a murder just happened, she fails to find a cab for hire. In a moment of desperation, she starts sprinting towards the nearest police station. The night wind whispers to her like a background noise, leaking from an old stage. Lysel runs as fast as she can, even though her foggy thoughts only get noisier the moment she tries to calm herself down. Did they actually go looking for Balone Associates? Did someone make a move? Did they do something for me? For Paula? The wind stings her eyes, but she runs even faster, her balance nearly slipping. Personally, I think we should never forget what the Balones did to Paula. No, there's no way. If I ever see one of their mobsters, my fist is going straight to your jaw. Timpani, Bethune. No, they would never do such things. Lysel gasps for breath like the bellows about to burst as the night wind slips into her arms, sending her into shivers. She notices a few passers-by ahead, looking at her as if they spotted a lunatic. She does not care. All she thinks is to go faster. But the closer she gets to the police station, the more the grayish-white building seems to slowly press down on her like a huge, unfeeling stage curtain. Lysel slows down. She stands at the street corner and spots an officer smoking outside the gate in front of the lit-up station entrance. For a second, she seems to want to turn and run. Did they do this thinking they had no other choice because I'm so useless? What if they actually did something? What if one of them is the real culprit? What if I find the truth and it's an answer to the orchestra or I can't bear to hear? She hates herself for doubting them. She hates how her first reaction upon hearing Familia Balone and Detain was not to defend them but to freeze as she recalls those towering horns. What should I do? Paula? Daughter of mine, our orchestra wouldn't be what it is today without you. I'm so thankful. Yes, I'll always be with you, and the rest of the orchestra needs you too. Lysel, my girl, my pride and joy. Someday, you will stand on the stage in my stead. No, not just for me. It's never been for me. One day, you'll become the best conductor in Nova Volsini. No, all of Syracusa. The wind seems to have stopped. Lysel slowly but surely drags her heavy feet into the building. How are the boys? Stare. Wrong cell. Oh. Well. So you're saying Timpani didn't hit you and... struck these two Colombian businessmen instead? Oh.
Ugh. That's right. Well, I got hit too, actually. But hey, old man. You got a bum leg, but your arm packs a punch. Damn straight. I'm a first-rate percussionist. You bet I'm good at hitting things. If only that Colombian fat ass didn't trip and eat your second jam. Huh. Ahem. So here's the situation. We got a call about 4 troublemakers on the street, and it turned into a fight between 6. After some questioning, we determined these 2 Colombian gentlemen is a Balone Outer Hall Hotel. In the Balone Outer Hall Hotel, we're fighting with with the hotel staff. The staff had asked the Colombian men to step outside, but once they were on the street, the businessmen suddenly became violent. Meanwhile, these 2 members of the Schwarzer Warhang Orchestra tried to mediate the fight, but ended up involving themselves in the scuffle. Yep, it's all that Fatso's fault. He's drunk, and was harassing a receptionist. Harassing? Not at all. I was just paying a guest in the hotel when I suddenly took a hit. Mark my words, I'm not done with you just yet. Ah, haven't had enough. You're the ones who stumbled into this lobby drunk, yelling, "Why should I line up? You need the biggest, most mafia-style room." Mafia-style? What are you getting at, throwing words like that around a legitimate business establishment? You scared off the guests who were trying to check in. You're acting like that's no big deal. Exactly. Here from the entrance, we clearly saw how you scared the receptionist to tears. Hey, zip it.
Bassoon pinches Timpani hard, who yelps and looks up to see Lysel's ashen expression.
Sorry, Lysel. You shouldn't have been called out here at this hour. All of us have you listed as our emergency contact. Paula told us to, so... Oh, it's my fault. I should have stopped him. Lysel, say something. The size is scaring me.
So the two of you helped someone who didn't need your help in the first place?
Huh? That seems to be the case, yeah.
Lysel was rendered speechless as she looks at both pairs of Boulogne mobsters and Colombian businessmen. In the middle, Timpani and Bassoon are huddling in fear like foul beasts caught in the rain, their pitiful gazes aimed at Lysel. When was it? When was the last time I saw something so absurd? They're being good boys. At the pier, faced with Paolo's invitation, Timpani shook his head in confusion and ignored the two to resume his hammering. With his rhythmic hammering in the background, Lysel saw Paula suddenly straighten herself at her collar. Foreman, sir, I'd like to resign on this gentleman's behalf. From today onwards, he'll no longer be able to hammer for you, for he shall join me in exploring the beautiful possibilities in the world of music. Now then, arrivederci, my good foreman.
Huh? No, wait, what? Resign, goodbye. Who said he could go?
What? He can't?
Of course not. It's day labor, and he's not even done yet. And you want to take him away? It'll slow us down.
Oh, I see. Is this enough then? Go hire some other. Go find another master artisan like Timpani here, and you won't fall behind schedule.
But...
The foreman was clearly shocked by Paula's actions. Her words sent Timpani. Behind Paula was Lysel, tugging at her mother's sleeve with an expression both amused and annoyed. Paula, it's supposed to feed us for a week. Huh? Really? Everyone stays awkwardly still for a moment before the foreman quickly grabbed the florin from her, as if afraid she'd change her mind.
Hey, you over there. Go find another worker for me.
The foreman turned to yell and left the trio, depriving Timpani of a chance to respond.
Huh?
I'm sorry, Lysel. Maybe you should manage the money from now on. And now, we threw a busk on the street. I'm sure we can earn back enough for tonight's dinner. Paula, what the heck? The fiery sunset clouds from that day come back to life inside Lysel's mind. The defiant Timpani, the satisfied and smiling Paula, and a resigned self shaking her head were all bathed in a warm sunset glow in the shade of a beautiful future. Wow, our whole family's so silly. Paula, Timpani, Bassoon, Trombone, everyone, and even me. I'm the biggest fool of us all. How could I suspect my own family? There's only anyone who would do anything like that.
It's alright, Lysel. I did what I did, and I'll pay the price. So don't worry your little head over this. It's just a few days behind bars, probably. I'm used to skipping meals.
You start a beat. Timpani, any rhythm is fine, just when you like.
What?
Timpani's bold declaration to pay the price for his actions is interrupted by Lysel's sudden request. He exchanges a glance with Bassoon, and even meets the eyes of the below mobsters and Colombian businessmen. But the undeniable authority in her voice sends Timpani's hand involuntarily tapping on a metal bar. With his rhythmic tapping in the background, Lysel straightens her back as well as her collar, looking toward the Colombian businessmen. Ahem. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Lysel, the leader of the Schwarzer Warhang Orchestra. We're the finest orchestra in all of Novosini, which I'm sure you can tell from the excellent live performance by my timpani player, yes? I should also mention that we have a wonderful bassoon player in our midst, but I regret we do not have the equipment to offer a demonstration right now. Alright, now that the introductions are out of the way, firstly, I would like to express my sincerest apologies for today's incident. I cannot make decisions on their behalf, but I will take responsibility for my group. It is an undeniable fact that one of my men hit you, and I'm deeply sorry for it. You are a businessman from a faraway Colombia, yes? The high-end Piazza Parsota that you invested in is about to open in the city. I think you chose the city for a good reason, its potential, order, and future cultural atmosphere. Now, I'm not trying to excuse this unfortunate misunderstanding between your party and mine, but I'd like to offer something valuable in exchange for your forgiveness. A performance. Ooh, performance, yay. And hello. The Schwarze Warhang Orchestra will provide a free and exclusive performance for the Piazza Parsoda's opening ceremony.
Exclusive, you say?
Yes, give us a time and we'll be there, performing a complete lineup of classical pieces of theater-grade quality. Lighting and stage control included. The conductor will be me, daughter Paula Meminger. I will not fall short of her standards, for she personally trained me, and I am her pride. Even if you're not satisfied with the performance, you will gain some buzz from the public either way. I won't take a loss, even if you decide not to hire us again. But if you find us valuable, then I imagine you'd like to make Piazza Parsona the very first high-end shopping mall with a resident orchestra. Of course, all this is to make one thing clear. The city only has a single orchestra worth investing in, and that's us. What a good pitch.
You know, boss, this sounds pretty good. It does seem like a good deal. Hold up, how about figuring out who's actually in the wrong? Well, this young lady has already taken the blame, so what else is there to discuss? It's not like we meant to cause a ruckus. Humph. Eek.
What do you gentlemen think?
Alright, you arrange everything that needs arranging, and we'll have your orchestra in the opening. However, we're high-end mall after all. I do hope you won't disappoint.
Of course. Next to Colombian businessmen, Timpani and Bassoon are still statues. Only when the police officer waves them away do they both mutter something as if just jolted awake.
Lacel, you are the spitting image of Paula back there. No, even more. How do I put it? More Paula than Paula ever was.
I'm my mama's daughter after all. I'm Lacel Meminger of the Schwarzenegger Orchestra. The orchestra will be fine at this point. In the dressing room backstage, Lysel was seated, surrounded by the joyful sound of her orchestra chatting. Next to her is a stack of slightly yellowed scores, Paula's untitled quartet, with some edits noted in the corners. Meanwhile, Paula's favorite composition has just won a standing ovation from the entire audience on the Colombian's magnificent stage. Lysel runs her hands over the slightly faded ink and stands up to face the orchestra. Thank you all for staying. I know, these past few days have been difficult and stupid, but we held our concert and we'll hold many more. By Paula's will, in the name of Schwarzenegger Orchestra. So there's something I must tell you. On the day of the incident, I saw Paula's murderer. I'll find him somehow, and the law will punish him. He wasn't a lupo, so probably not a balloon. It was a Cabernet I saw. Well, I'm glad she told him in the end. Like a Cabernet, no! Now for Ordi Nuovo. Actually, let me take a sip of mine. It's so melted by now. It's been an hour since starting after all. But basically milk now. Cereal milk. Yummy, it has soggy cereal in it. It was crunchy earlier, but I didn't finish it. Okay, 2 sips for now is good enough. I'll finish the rest afterwards. Put that back on the ground. Yum. Yeah, she had an emergency meeting to find the sus among them. And now how will this end? Grazie infinity, Signor Balone. I would have been at such a loss if it had not been for you and your familia.
Come now, Zio Elio. I didn't do anything. Indeed, your name and presence were enough. My landlord dropping by as you were visiting me was enough to make him reconsider collecting his rent on the spot. After you left, he quickly agreed to give me 2 more weeks. That I'll figure out myself. I don't understand, Zio Elio. Where were you? What happened to your fruit stand? Oh, that? Ha, so long ago. My little Emma had a fever this summer. And who'd have thought it would leave her paralyzed? Luckily, Dimitri introduced me to a good doctor, said it was a serious yet common summer ailment for children. And she might lose her legs if it wasn't treated. So I sold my fruit stand and pulled cash from the relatives to pay part of the doctor's fees. The rest is to be paid in installments. She's out of the woods now at least. She has a slight limp, but she's otherwise healthy. As for the rent and bills, I'll figure it out.
Sheesh, that's a scary summer ailment.
Your stand was on the corner. Mitri and I bought oranges from you when we were little. We've been neighbors for years. I could have lent you some money, and you wouldn't have had to. No, Signor Balone. It's a vast sum. I wouldn't dare accept such a favor from you. Besides, your money wouldn't keep me afloat forever. I owe rent every week. But now that I'm under Familia Balone's protection, my landlord won't kick me out. When I fail to pay, and even the bakery will sell me some food on credit. But you never wanted to join the Familia. You always said that there was no need for civilians to join or involve themselves in Familia affairs. That the most important thing was to work hard and live your best life. Ha! This old man was just naive. A Familia is more than fighting and killing. I finally understand that. Don't worry, Signor Balone. I may be old, but I know not to be ungrateful. The Balones have helped me, so if you ever need a favor in turn, just call me and I'll be there.
Hopefully the daughter's alright by now.
You did this on purpose, didn't you, Mitri? I asked you the other day why I haven't seen his fruit stand, and you told me he was home for a relative's funeral. You knew Emma was gravely ill. And when you suddenly invited me here for the pizza the other day, you knew Zio Elio would pass by and find me. You handled it expertly, Leon. Found what? I played right into your hands. If I had known sooner. You couldn't have done anything about it anyway. You couldn't have possibly known what sort of hardship he would face. Your assistance would have been limited. But at least I could have prevented him from joining the Familia against his wishes. Only the Familia can help him now. Is that so? I beg to differ. What did this facade cost him, and how will it even last? You should have had access to more work opportunities, while we, Syracuse, should guarantee them a livelihood through systematic measures. Relying on the Familia won't address the root of the problem. I hope the lesson you learned from this was not charity or consideration for others, Leon. You're the underboss. Someday you'll be the head of the Familia yourself. A competent Don knows offering timely help will earn you gratitude. They will owe you a favor and repay their debt someday. You sound so heartless, Mitri. Why did you even bother introducing the doctor to Zio Elio then? Shouldn't you have let me do it if you wanted me to learn to extract gratitude? You didn't know how ill Elma really was, and you didn't know you would have no choice but to sell the fruit stand. You just wanted to help him, and had nothing to do with the Familia. We can only do as much as we can know. Besides, old Elio's oranges were always the best. He clearly knows how to pick his suppliers.
Dimitri's so nice. He knows about everyone's families. He's like, oh, your daughter's sick. Let me recommend a doctor. And then I get heck to the others inside of the trucking company. Congratulations on your your twins. Have a bottle of wine. And oh, you're sick? Oh man, that sucks. You know, let me get one of my men to send you some medicine. Dimitri knows everyone's business.
This is a trivial matter compared to your available powers as the mayor. Please, bring the murderous mafioso who ruined my Red One Championship to justice. Signor Tarek, Dimitri. Balone's trial is in this afternoon, but for now, he remains only a suspect. But who else could it have been? He sees me as a competitor, and it's not above dirty tricks. I kept my wines safely stored in the cellar, and even arranged for professional security to guard them, only to somehow have them swapped with Saluzzo's. The prime suspect was arrested at the party, yet only placed under house arrest. And there have been plenty of people knocking on his door to visit, console, and even plot more nastiness. The whole city thinks him innocent, while Saluzzo Vino was raking in record profit. While I, poor old Radoslaw, have gained absolutely nothing after spending so much time and effort organizing an event here in the hopes of doing some business in this thriving new city.
Yeah, poor dude, huh?
As far as I know, the Red Wine has been publishing articles about this murder case, and this has brought a lot of attention to your event. I understand you've already begun recruiting participants for your next Red Wine Championship, and there are even wine merchants from Colombia and Lithuania who have signaled an interest in participating.
Hello, I'm from Hawaii.
Indeed. I should be enjoying greater gains than just those. Now, I'm trying to minimize my massive losses. Signor Charek. We pledge to run a city fairly, according to the new Urban Management Act, but our government will not serve the interests of a lone businessman. Not you or anyone else. That's so. I hear you grew up with the Boulogne boy, and now he's even taking your family name. I'm no longer affiliated with the Familia Boulogne in any way. But he's a member, no? Part of the purest Syracusan Familia. Even in his businessman costume, he's still most comfortable doing things mafia style. You need to present proper evidence before we can hold a formal trial. Of course, we must follow due process, I'm aware. My good mayor, I pray you don't forget this. Since the new Urban Management Act, many businessmen from Kashmirish, Lithuania, and Colombia have come here to trade. And we, or at least the merchants under the KGCC's banner, are only here in Novovosini and not in any other Syracusan city because you have promised us the Familia do not exist here.
The wine merchant leaves, but Leontusa remains still for a long time. You seem exhausted. Did the wine merchant tie you up in his affairs again? Or is it Dimitri? Both.
He's convinced that he won't have a fair trial and keeps bringing up his Chamber of Commerce to pressure me.
Salusolvino has indeed established itself in Novovosini under Dimitri's management, but it remains a local enterprise. And it's hard to judge if it can compare with the commercial capabilities of Sarik's Golden Prairie. I fear Sarik is hounding Dimitri not just because they're business competitors, or for the championship incident. Dimitri is merely an opportunity for Sarik and the Chamber of Commerce backing him. Most local merchants here do have ties to Familia, big or small, and if this background becomes valid grounds for accusations of wrongdoing, the local industry will come under pressure. But we do need those foreign capitalists to trade here. We have to learn their modern ways of trade, and we need their capital and goods.
Even the way they compete with each other is something we need. It'll make our local businesses iterate and evolve to keep up. I'm aware of all that, but Lavinia, our current situation is far from what we originally envisioned.
Yes, we planned for a city without the Familiae, run with fairness and justice, not favoring any particular party. But now Novovosini has become an open gate to Syracusa, completely defenseless, free of any outsiders to enter, no matter their motives. The first group is, of course, the Kashmirians who exploit the loopholes in the new Urban Management Act. Hello. The exclusive shelf display agreement that Charik and his fellow merchants include in the contracts have severely affected local industry.
The various logistics contracts with high fines have also driven our local truckers into a corner.
Yes, Irene has informed me of the situation. It seems like the KGCC is trying to undermine our AST. Also, other departments have given feedback on how they've been showing signs of wanting to involve themselves in the energy and healthcare sectors as well. Hello.
According to last month's reports from City Hall, many businesses in the service industry have shuttered, while the manufacturing industry is also struggling. Foreign-backed companies and shops have set up here, and they prefer to employ those from their own countries, so it is likely the job pool for locals will only shrink. Despite our best efforts, prices are still trending upwards. Our people are not doing so well.
And it is the Kashmirians and Colombians we must face, but also the Lithuanians who have come all across Syracusa, and even from their own country with all manner of motives.
Yes, and before them.
The fairness and justice we seek remain necessary. I still believe in this.
But if a pursuit must be traded for the livelihood of their citizens, then those so-called virtues will only end up being superficial formalities.
You're right.
I've been mulling over it. Remember when I mentioned we might have to amend the new Urban Management Act?
Luminary's vision. Wanna look? It's a good thing Lavinia's here, since she's a third party. Nantuso takes the draft from Lavinia. 2 thin sheets of paper that should have no time to go through. It should take no time to go through, but Leontuso flips through them multiple times before he finally looks up.
Impose tariffs on foreign goods. Prevent foreign businesses from establishing a monopoly in key sectors like transportation, finance, and energy. And allow some factions with former familiar ties access to lower management roles. Issue franchise permits to familiar-controlled corporations. Is This not a bit overboard? I fear people might say we're regressing to the old Syracusan way, or that we're favoring the familiar. I did propose change, but these amendments are difficult to accept.
I understand your concerns, Leon. I know you of all people hope to keep the familiar out of the city.
But you still seek to counter foreign capitalists with familiar power.
Leon, we all know that Nobunaга's government is an authority over the city were granted at Signora Cecilia's pleasure. But in Syracuse, as it stands now, the only force capable of uniting everyone is still the familiar. But what we can do is limit and prevent the familiar from growing their power, ensure they do not succumb to infighting, and most importantly, keep them from infringing on civilian interests. It's not an easy decision to make, truth be told. I think it's not the right time to submit this draft either. Most citizens enjoy the employment opportunities brought by the foreign companies, as well as the cheap and trendy imported goods. Even if the KGCC's ways inconvenience them, compared to the trouble caused by the mob wars of the past, we do not think it much of a problem. Silence spreads throughout the office. Then Tusa knows Lavinia's right, because he used to harbor such plans in his mind, but it's not so easy to make the decision.
I get what you're trying to say, but just as Sherrick and the KGCC went on this chance to put Michi on trial, we also need the opportunity to convince ourselves and the entire city.
Yes, and this chance may well come soon. The courtroom is packed. The afternoon trial has clearly drawn a lot of attention. Sitting in the gallery are not only locals, but also the merchants, Chariks, Kashmirjan partners, the Lithuanian orchestra, and even Colombian traders. All their attention is fixated on one Dimitri Ballon, defendant stock. In accordance with the new Urban Management Act, the Novovosini Criminal Court will commence with the trial of the defendant, Dimitri Ballon, on charges of the murder of Paula Meminger, case number 01452. Court is now in session. I call Tommaso Esposito to the witness stand. Signor Esposito, is it true that you are manager for the Saluzzo Vino, in charge of the company's logistics?
Yes.
2 weeks ago, one day before the Golden Prairie Red Wines Championship, you called an individual by the name of Sam at the Argentia per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti. You asked him to deliver 2 bottles of Saluzzo wine to the event venue.
Yes, I was very busy and completely forgot about sending some wines to the competition, although I fortunately remembered to do so the day before. Suffering from success, as it were.
When the Sam was delivering the goods via motorcycle, he came upon a crashed truck driven by an ASD colleague, one Jannie. Jannie was on a Golden Prairie job at the time. Coincidentally, Gian just happened to be delivering goods specifically prepared by Golden Prairie for the competition finals, and you just happened to be there as well.
The coincidence isn't that unusual, just goes to show how everyone loves doing things last minute. As for me, I was making my way over to the event venue to ensure my boss's instructions were being carried out properly, so I tagged along.
At the scene of the accident, you helped Sam get Gian into the ambulance, and you helped handle the aftermath. Notably, you took the Saluzzo wines you placed them into the Golden Prairie box meant for the competition.
The Golden Prairie guys said that they'd find another driver, so I thought I'd save myself some trouble, since we were both delivering goods to the same destination.
We took the Golden Prairie wines out of their box, and so the wines that appeared to the judges under the Golden Prairie name were, in fact, an Saluzzo Vino.
That's their own carelessness. They only had to look at the labels on the bottles to avoid the mistake. Am I wrong, Your Honor?
No further questions. I call Letizia Moroni to the witness stand. Signora Moroni, you work at the Novovosini Police Academy as a toxicology expert and forensic pathologist. You're responsible for the autopsy of the victim, Paula Meminger, as well as the testing of the utensils and wine in the case. Yes. Please inform the court of your findings. Yes, Your Honor. The autopsy results show Paula Meminger died of cyanide poisoning. Traces of cyanide were found on the wine glass used, but not inside the Saluzzo wine bottle. In other words, the murderer applied cyanide only to the glass rather than the Saluzzo wine itself. I can only see the current evidence supports that conclusion. Ooh, it was a glass. Calling Lysel Meminger to the witness stand. The little Cabernet steps out from the crowd of musicians around her and slowly but resolutely walks toward the witness stand. Signorina Meminger, is it true that you're a member of the Schwarzer Vorhang Orchestra and the adopted daughter of the deceased Paula Meminger? Yes. Gotta sneeze. One sneeze. On the day of the Red Wine Championship, you went to the cellar where all the competition wines were stored for inspection. Yes. While you were there, you brushed past someone who was neither a security guard nor a member of any participating winery. Yes. Did you see what this individual did to the cellar? I saw him picking up a glass, but by the time, I only thought it was a random, strange occurrence. No problems arose after he entered the cellar, so I assumed that he was just a lost spectator. And pause for a minute. Like, sure. I hope she figured out who the person was, because, ooh. Please bring them to justice. Like, man, I kind of feel bad for Dimitri right now. Like, sure, he was under house arrest. He's probably just chilling at home, but all the blame put on him. Poor Dimitri. But maybe it was kind of like a nice vacation for him. It's been several days since the incident occurred. And then hopefully Lysel's performance at that one mall went by well. They deserve some good gigs. And hopefully a fairer contract, because that sucked for the other one. It's like, oh, you couldn't do all your performances? Well, no pay for you. It's unfortunate your mom passed away, but think of our business. Like, dude, come on. At least give them the severance pay, like, sheesh. Like, no, our contract says that if you fail to do all the performances, no monies. Hello. Today's been okay. I just hate how my internet went out for a while. Like, how freaking dare you go out? I want to relax and play games and stuff, but no. Like, aw, Wills. Oh, Will. Oh, good now? Okay. No worries. No problems arose after he entered the cellar, so I assumed he was just a lost spectator. If I had known what he was doing, I would have stopped him, and Paula wouldn't have. Lysel's voice trembles slightly as her volume lowers gradually. She looks down, hunched over, but ultimately she straightens her back. My condolences. Did you get a clear look at his face? I only saw him for a moment. I saw his face, but I couldn't make it out clearly. Do you think you may recognize him? No, he dressed very plainly. Thinking back, I believe he was maybe trying to trick the security guards, impersonating one of our orchestra members. I don't know who he was, but there's one thing I do know. He was definitely no Pero or Lupo you'd typically find Syracuse. He had enormous Cabernet horns. Murmurs rise in the courtroom, like ripples from throwing a stone into water. Lavinia continues her questions, and Lysel recounts in detail what her orchestra members are doing at the time, establishing their alibis. But no one cares for her words at this point. So Boulogne didn't do it. I've been thinking it made no sense. You really won the championship after all. What would he get by killing the conductor? But what if there's something else we still don't know? Also, couldn't he have just simply hired a Cabernet to do the deed? His men to sabotage our wineries. He's obviously after us, disrupting our perfectly legitimate business operations. Silence! Order in the court! I call Elio Fabri to the witness stand. Nantuso was shocked to see his old acquaintance in court. He does not know why Elio would be there, or be here. He was not even aware that Elio would come to Nuovo Bosini. Signor Fabri, is it true that you're an employee of Saluzzo Vino and responsible for producing grapes for the company's production line? Yes, Your Honor. 3 weeks ago, you reached out to Verdi Winery to discuss procuring raw materials for Saluzzo Vino. Even though Verdi Winery's business has been declining ever since the Cashmerian Winery set up shop, they always have the most aromatic grapes. Our company has a long-term cooperative agreement with Verdi to purchase any surplus materials the production lines cannot handle. The discussion was just part of my regular job. But during this meeting, you learned that the Golden Prairie was about to buy out Verdi Winery. Yes. And so you conspire with Niccolo, a Verdi employee, to sabotage the winery's production facilities. Furthermore, you also sabotaged their water supply and drainage systems, causing Golden Prairie to incur substantial maintenance costs after their acquisition.
Yes.
You must be aware of these actions constitute unfair competition and violate the new Urban Management Act. What was your motive? Did the owner of Saluzzo Vino, Dimitri Bellone, compel you to do this? Did you intend to disrupt Golden Prairie's business operations? Elio does not answer immediately. The Cashmerian businessman in this gallery is silent, his expression now relaxed. Meanwhile, Liantuso fails to make out Dimitri's reaction from his calm demeanor in the defendant's dock.
No one compelled me to do anything, Your Honor. Everything I did was on my own conscience, out of my concern as a nouveau Bosiniese, a Syracusan. It is true that Golden Prairie is a competitor of ours, and it really means I know well the methods they use. They dump their goods here for cheap, pressuring our local wineries into a smaller corner of the market, and then acquire them when they turn unsustainable. But they don't run the business properly after buying them out, much less try to preserve their unique winemaking traditions. They fire all the old staff to increase profit and efficiency, pretending to operate normally for a while, then shut it all down, leaving the vines to waste away. Verdi's the fourth. Before them, it was Triptych, Sadie Hills, and Drizzle. All those wineries suffer the same treatment. That's how Cashmere's works. They don't care about the effort we put into tending our grapes, nor for our lives and the memories carried by the unique astringency in our traditional wines. All they want is to clear out the weaker competitors one by one, until they monopolize all the shelves of every store, and will ultimately lose any choice in the products we buy. When that happens, I doubt their prices will stay as low as they are now.
Well said, but that does not justify your use of illegal means.
I know what I've done won't stop the Cashmerians from trampling all over our wine and the other industries. But I had to do something. I'll accept whatever punishment I deserve.
Murmurs from the gallery only grow louder and louder. Lavinia raises the gavel in her hand, but hesitates for a while before she puts it down without striking the block.
Your Honor, if you allow me a few words.
Speak.
I believe the testimonies you've heard from the witnesses you summoned are sufficient to prove that I have no connection to the murder of Paolo Miminger. But Elio Fabri is indeed of my company's employ. I did not compel myself, and he did engage in activities deemed illegal by the new Urban Management Act, targeting Golden Prairie. I believe his reasons for doing so are perfectly understandable, not just to me, but to every noble Bosanese sitting in the gallery right now. But a violation of rules is a violation. I do not expect the court to make an exception for him. Though as his boss, I'm willing to bear the punishment for his crime, be it a fine or a prison sentence.
Wow, what a nice boss. The murmurs are now so loud that even the gavel fails to silence the crowd. Reporters in the back rows leave to contact the newspapers. Lavinia announces the end of the trial, declaring that the verdict to be given at a later date following jury deliberations. Amidst the chaos, Liantuso catches Dimitri looking at him. He watches as Dimitri raises his hand, puts his index and middle finger together, and gently points them towards Liantuso than himself. He recognizes the action, a unique gesture they both used when they were little to signal "catch you later" for chat. Liantuso does not respond. Yes, we've confirmed with the team responsible for guarding the Bellone estate that Elio Fabri did not visit Dimitri Bellone's residence following the murder of Paolo Meminger. We've not monitored any calls between them either. In other words, he just spoke of his own accord at the courthouse. This seems to be the case as far as we can tell. The jury has yet to reach a verdict, so we can only continue to watch as the Bellone estate and keep Signor Fabri in custody for now. I'd like to speak with them in private. By all means. Zio Elio, I didn't know you were a Nuovo Bocini. Oh, I thought Signor Mayor and Judge Lavinia would have come across my name while scrutinizing entry applications from Bellone Associates. I didn't notice, but why are you still with them? I thought. After Padre's death, Familia Bellone lost all power it had. You should have left them. I know you never liked having to do things the mafioso way.
Leave? I lost my fruit stand. Emma's fever hit her with a lifelong need for medication, and I've been struggling. If Don Dimitri hadn't invited me to join his winery and source grapes for him, I don't know how I would have survived. Novosilny provides job opportunities for everyone with the will to shape a future with their own hands. Is that so? Do you think small businesses can still survive under the Kashmirian merchant's heel?
No.
But your acts of sabotage. The Familia used to do the same. The Familia's ways of doing things, yes, they remind us, every citizen here, of our painful past. I do admit it was a shameful act, but fortunately, Judge Lavinia allowed me an opportunity to speak the truth in court. Lavinia was the one who arranged for you to be there. Yes, sometimes we have no choice but to only do as much as we can, no? You asked me when I was still working for Don Dimitri. It's because he still adheres to the old Familia creed. A pack of whelps, grouping up to help each other can keep all of us from being devoured by a bigger beast. I heard your inauguration speech too. I could feel your passion. You asked how our neighboring nations would view us. Would they see us as a new possibility? But now, I believe they do. They see us as a new avenue to exploit us for their own gain. Yes, I work for the Dawn, but it is the below businesses I care for and want to protect. No, it's our own industry. It is Don Dimitri who gave us opportunity to unite and stand against the great merchants.
Like, Dimitri's doing things in a good way, though. Like, right now, anyways. He's just holding up the tradition has values, that's it. He's not forcing anyone to do anything.
Congratulations on your not guilty verdict, Senor Balone. Oh, I thought that you of all people would be most eager to see me behind bars. Just a misunderstanding. The trial in court clearly proved your innocence, and the entire city knows of your magnanimity. Let's put all the twists and turns that happened during the championship behind us. It is undeniable that your winery took the crown. Saluzzo Vino now holds the title of #1 winery in all of Novosilny. Truly, an enviable feat. Thanks to you as well. Bah. Surely, you'll join the next iteration as well. Defending the crown would be a legendary achievement. Perhaps. As you say, Saluzzo Vino is now the #1 winery in the city. So I'm afraid I no longer see the value in joining a so-called competition to increase the value of my products. Am I right?
He's like, I'm not falling for that again. If I join again, something bad's gonna happen, and I'm not about that.
Fair enough. But Elio Fabri damaging the winery's water systems under the ownership of Golden Prairie surely impacts you somehow. You said you pay his fine or even serve his time. A noble gesture, but you don't necessarily have to follow through. A trivial matter like this isn't worth a public prosecution in the first place. No one would have noticed the incident if I had not filed a lawsuit in the first place. Senor Charek, you can't get straight. You can get straight to the point. What is your goal here? I don't think it's just to repair our working relationship with a tiny favor. Heh, I do appreciate the frankness. Regardless of our backgrounds, you're both businessmen now, are we not? Well, Senor Balone, I'd like to discuss a deal with you. Let Golden Prairie invest in Saluzzo Vino. A strong alliance will surely sweep the Syracusan markets. And when the time comes, our business empire will eventually expand beyond Syracuse and Kashmiraj. Oh, is that so?
He seems so uninterested. He's like, eh.
Indeed. I know you currently do not lack for capital or production tech, and you have your reputation here. But you must be aware of the Kashmiraj General Chamber of Commerce behind me. If we work together, our resources, like our comprehensive supply of logistic channels and even the media channels we have ties with, all that will be available to you.
You think it was their values and the old ways that caused their paths to diverge? Yeah, Leon wants something new. And the old heads stuck in their own ways. But instead, let traditions stay but evolve along the way. Like, having the traditions stay and then evolving, though, is pretty nice, though.
All that will be available to you. Surely, a young upstanding man like yourself doesn't want to stop at a single winery that doesn't even bear your name? Have you never considered establishing a a Dimitri commercial empire?
But yeah, I I want to commercialize you, Dimitri.
Intriguing. I didn't expect the trial's outcome to impact your company and your judgment so much. It did indeed leave its mark on my wine business, but Golden Prairie still retains its price advantage. I'm thinking the KGCC was the impetus behind the effort to discuss the cooperative relationship. We're businessmen, Senor Balone. We're naturally driven by the pursuit of maximum profit. It is normal for us to set aside our preferences when discussing a deal of in our quest for the most beneficial result. As the employee said, this is how cashmere works. So think about it, young man. Don't be in such a rush to refuse me. Refuse? Do you think I would do that?
Dimitri, are you gonna troll this guy? Lantius arrives at Dimitri's residence late at night. The rain that lasted all day is now reduced to a faint drizzle, gradually slowing to a stop, but his mood remains melancholic. Security guards from the city hall, who are still at the estate, lead him inside. He thought Dimitri would have come out to meet him, but he is mistaken. Dimitri is simply seated in a chair, a seat decided by old familia, accustomed to be the Dons, silently watching him. A dim light over his head obscures his expression. Lantuso suddenly realizes it's been a long time since he's read any expression from Dimitri's face.
Here you are, after all. Yes, you asked me to come. I remember the gesture. A glass for each of us. I can mix a ginger fizz with apple juice you like as a base. Though it's hard to find traditionally pressed apple juice in Novovicini these days. I'm sure it's been a while since you've had any. Fortunately, I found someone to help me acquire it. I'm sure you didn't call me here to reminisce about the old days. You can lower your guard. When I arrived here, I think I spotted Cashmerejan's car leaving. The boss of Golden Prairie. Charek? What's he doing here? He wants to work with Saluzzo Vino. I agreed. Why? Why? Is this not what you people at City Hall want? Bringing in foreign capital will help local businesses to thrive and evolve. This is how businesses here and even across Syracuse will gain access to a wider market. Charek was here as an agent of the KGCC, and they offered generous terms. I had no reason to refuse. Cashmerejan's businessmen aren't as nice as you may think. You're worried for me. You managed to gain the Saluzzo's assets with your particular methods, but this doesn't mean you will see the same results with the Cashmerejans. We can only try and see. Also, City Hall will surely protect the interests of its local businesses, yes?
Dimitri's like, this is what you wanted, right? I'm giving you what you want. Come on, Leontuso, be happy.
I know an amendment to the new Urban Management Act sits on your desk. Just missing your signature. How do you... Just some of those so-called underhanded familiar methods. We should always seek the intelligence we can to make the most beneficial decision. I believe I taught you this long ago when I was grooming you to be the Don. That amendment is just a draft. I might not even sign it. You're hesitating, I know. You just can't make up your mind. You fear the people would denounce you, that all your achievements would go to waste, that Novovicini would turn to the old familiar ways. Should I not be afraid? It's too easy, going back to our familiar thought methods. When new sparks are so hard to start. All the familia outside the city are watching our every move. Give them one chance and we'll be torn to shreds, never to recover. But you have more to worry about than just the familia. Besides the Cashmerejan and Colombian businessmen who exploit loopholes in the act. There are also the Athenians trying to expand their influence in the city. Did you know? I received some surprising news just before the competition. Someone was dispatched here from the Lithuanian border for the sole purpose of dispatching the exiled dissident, Paula Meminger.
Wow!
The Lithuanians' external grace forbids anyone from deviating from their movement, even outside Lithuanian territory, and uses to your advantage. I didn't fan the flames, I simply let it be. Fortunately, things turned out well, and you also sought a chance to amend the act. Is this not what City Hall has been waiting for this whole time? I believe Lavinia arranged that trial just for that. I do intend to limit foreign capital here, but that does not mean... Who else can you even rely on, if not us local businessmen? Regardless of whether or not we have familiar backgrounds, we are at least complying with your city's rules. We can act as your insurance. Empty promises meant nothing to me. Mean nothing to me. I know you're skeptical of the familiar, but you should understand that we started off as nothing but a band of whelps, powerless against the barons and the kiosks of Syracuse. We helped those around us and hoped a day might come when we could win something in return, to improve our lives. We Syracusans take care of our own. It is a tradition, and what I've always done. So after the Dawn's death, after you left, I took the Ballone's reins. Because I cannot let the Familia lose their home. Just as you cannot let the Syracusans lose their ground to foreigners from Kashmirich, Lithuania, or Colombia. Am I wrong? You would do great things, Leon. One day you will actually be able to realize your dreams in Syracuse. I've always believed this. I've heard this from you before, Mitri. I said back when you could be my right-hand man, the offer remains even now at City Hall. No grazie. I really don't get along with Lavinia. And as you said before, there are things better suited for her, and others only I can handle. Just like right now, some matters are only for City Hall to carry out, while others are better for us to do. Your deals alone cannot stop Nuova Volsini alive. Your deals alone cannot keep Nuova Volsini alive. The city needs and must have the support of the old familia. You sound so certain. You met Signora Cecilia. I'm sure you know I'm sure you know well just how happy she is to meet young people with ideas. Your established rules will keep the familia Nuova Volsini from running amok, while my ways will gather all the power and spirit of Syracuse. This will become a new Guns in Order for the city, Liantuzo.
Dimitri seems so proud of Leon, though. You'll do great things, Leon. I believe in you. You will be the light, I'll be the darkness. As Liantuzo leaves, Dimitri extends a hand towards him. Signal of cooperation, Liantuzo hesitates for a moment before stretching out a hand himself. They used to be close, no strangers to sharing hugs or laughter, but this formal handshake now is a first between them. At the conclusion of their handshake, Dimitri returns to his chair. Then, just like Liantuzo's father and every Syracusan dawn, he disappears into the darkness. At least they get along decently still. It's like a less toxic relationship than Wei and Wu and the Rat King. The rain is no more. The sky is surprisingly clear and tranquil. The dynamic reminds you of Zoro and Sanji.
That amendment. Are you really okay with it, Lavinia? We used to want for Syracuse without even a trace of the familiar.
I spent more than a decade under the Balone shadow, Leon. I don't mind waiting a little longer.
And the same goes for me.
I'm sure things will work out for them. I thank you, Lavinia, for being there to write the laws out properly. And for being third party from this. I still like how Dimitri's just like, yeah, she and I do not get along, it's fine. Understandable. She does things above the table, I do things below the table. It is what it is. Humph. Man, though, I wouldn't know which route I want to take. I'd be like, Lavinia, tell him, like, help me. Which is why I'll never become a mayor. Nah. Too much work. Too many issues to deal with. Just no. But right now I think Dimitri's fine. Like, he's upfront about things. So yeah, I'm gonna do things this way, the old way. But I believe in you. Like, I'm sure this is what... Like, I know the stuff that you want, so I'm gonna do things my way, but in accordance to your laws. So at least he's not fighting the laws. He's still good enough right now. Thank you, Lavinia. Still so sad about Paula. At least we kind of know who went after Paula, but will they get justice? Who knows at this point. Rather unfortunate. At least Lyselle's a good leader right now. Hopefully she can finish Paula's score. Cause that'd be a nice thing to have for everyone. It's what Paula would have wanted. Daughter, make the ultimate score, become the greatest orchestra in all of Nova Volsini, and cross the entire land. Dimitri really did come far, though. Like, look at him and his winery and his nice hotels. And running businesses so properly. Gosh darn, though, those businessmen being like, I want the greatest mafia room. Like, wow, stereotypes much, huh? Like, just because it's the Balone family's hotel does not mean that they're gonna... Okay, it'd be funny if they made theme hotels now. Dimitri can be like, oh, that's what you guys want, right? Time to make mafia-themed hotels, not just a fancy, regular hotels. This is what you guys wanted, right? Ta-da! Now pay the extra price for the premium mafia suite. Dimitri for the people. Oh, that'd be the best. Especially if they made a mafia room. Like, extreme mafia theme. Stuff that we can put inside of our Rhodes Island base, our outpost. That would be hilarious. I would buy it. That would be entertaining. And now hopefully the Truckers Union can get a better deal. Because, oh my goodness. All the fees. Irene is broke at this point. Her wallet's in the red. Poor Irene, guys. So many fees. Like, oh, you made your delivery a second late? Well, sucks to suck. You ruined our contract. Now you must pay the fee. All those darn fines. If Dimitri's the only familia in Nuova Volsini, like no familia powers, he would be considered built different. Like to an extent, he kinda is. Yeah, he really is actually. Like heck, the other families that are currently there, they're just doing wineries, unfortunately. Or fortunately in a way. Fortunate for the people there, unfortunate for the workers there since we saw their wineries going out of business. Like heck with her. No more winery, but hey, she can become the ultimate drummer now. The greatest musician. And that's gonna be fine. It'd be nice if she could tour. Like join the band, that'd be cool. Still, oh well. It's nice to see how Nova Volsini is doing. Hopefully they thrive. I hope for the best for them. By the next time we come back, maybe everything will be fine. Businesses will be thriving. And everyone will be more or less happy. And then we can see more Carnival. Woohoo! That'd be extra nice. So yeah, I'm happy that my internet did not die again. No fear, no pain. It seems like the storm has passed for the most part. I hope, and if it didn't, then oops. Probably 2. Like 2 for the Children of Ursa sounds good. Make them digestible. And luckily there's some time for that. So no fear, no pain. But yeah, that'd be for next week if anything. This week I gotta get further inside of Corpusant for GFL 2. Continue on Ordeal Call 3 and FGO. Luckily, Ordeal calls a lot of time still, but just in case weather acts up, because I did lose power. My house lost power Saturday night, which is scary, but it lost power right after Fate Grand Order. I'm like, thank you for going out after my stream ended, but still, that was rude. I don't like losing power. By the time I was able to open the fridge again, my cake in there was dry. I shouldn't have left cake in the fridge. I should have just eaten it. But no, I'm like, I'm gonna eat this later, and then I paid the price with dry cake. It would have been nice and moist if I ate it first thing, but no. Oh well, I've learned my lesson, just eat. Always eat your dessert, do not wait. Well, speaking of food, I wonder what other stuff there is. I had a bit of chicken katsu, but I feel like there might be more in the kitchen by now. I'm gonna be nosy and also use up my energy in the game. I gotta farm. So that being said, thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day at the Gotcha. I'll see you guys later. Bye. I can eat food properly now. Also pack up my friend's gift. I was supposed to mail it out last week, but then got too busy, and then today I was thinking of mailing it out, but no, because everything was closed. But tomorrow should be fine, and it shouldn't be wet, so I don't have to worry about a soggy package for her. Fingers crossed.